what the hell is going on over there?
Yeah, that's crazy. And then one of those teams that don't have that is is Liquid, which is crazy to say. It looks like we do have the game up on screen, so couple kills. We saw down bottom where they were able to get 1 kill, and then top lane there was a kill as well. So not too much action has been mixed. It looks like both supports were the ones that were able to get it, and overall people are having a pretty good time. Does look like Deucer though isn't farming. In fact, Nightfall 11 last hits, 4 minutes in. Toby's doing a very good job to continue to put the pressure on.
So yeah, good start. Looks like the Anti-Mage and the Timber pick, you mentioned how, this is a game where this could be a game-winning Timber pick, having a fantastic early start to the laning stages. BetBoom picked themselves up another kill up top. This is the lane I was most concerned about when it came to how Entity deal with it. This Eng plus Legion just feels like a really tricky lane to play into.
What did you make of the Legion changes that we've seen in 7.33? Because I'm a bit surprised we haven't seen too much of this hero.
Yeah, definitely when I first, the very first patch, I was like, this hero just feels like kind of absurd now. Like getting it used to be like you had to push too many buttons before you duel, and getting like the auto cast and the swap so that, you're getting your attack speed that much easier just felt really nice. But it hasn't really translated that way. I'm not sure what it is, but yeah, definitely have seen, and players have tried out the Legion, because I think a lot of offlane players saw it and were like, yeah, Legion's way better now, but
yeah,
the general feel is just being like, it's still not doing enough.
Maybe it's another thing is just like with the meta we currently have as well. It's still a lot of the offlaners. I know the auras were nerfed, but they are still predominantly focused on having that team fight utility, which the Legion doesn't provide. So as we do see Pure being able to dive deep under the tower with the help of Save's creep. Fishman, no escape. One side of the trees gets blocked and the other won't even be able to make it out of. So, if you can get kills, then sure, this hero feels pretty good. As well, we're going to see kills on the opposite side of the map. It's bottom lane that Katami goes down. And Nightfall really getting put in the bin here to start this game.
Yeah, this has been a tough one for him, but see if they can fix things here. Once again, top lane. They're TPing back in to try and help Watson out. He is not having a fun time up here with the constant pressure. They're just diving under this tower.
That would have been a walk of shame as well from Fishman, so very close to securing the kill. And you might need to, what do you even do? Do you try and rotate the Shadow Demon top? But if you do, then I don't know if the Anti-Mage can play solo into the bottom lane. They're going to try and continue to put the pressure on as Toronto Tokyo. He's had enough at bottom. Wants to make his mark up top, and that's going to be up to Watson's lane in some danger. Glimpse will buy him some valuable time. Katomi's going to try and help out. It's just a little bit too far away from the banishment to keep his carry alive.
Yeah, you mentioned the Shadow Demon rotation, but you rotate and your carry still going down. That definitely does not feel good at all. Medusa gets left in a 1v1, which, isn't ideal for the Medusa, being able to, you're not completely free farming there, but you're still getting something out of the lane, so tricky situation for Entity to be in with how this top lane has started. They do have that kind of saving grace of a mid lane that's been absolutely dominated by Timbersaw.
And it's only going to get better now. Stormstormer got a Fairy's Trinket, so lucky-ish. So, it's still lucky. You've got a couple other neutrals. You'd definitely not as good on him. So in the selection, probably got the best one for him. So I really wonder what they're going to be able to do for GPK. That's the big thing. How he's got treads now. It's definitely not going to be the fast treads blink timing like we saw prior. But how can they make sure he still gets a pretty good timing out of this? Because Stormstorm is going to want to try and hunt him down.
It's going to be a game where Stormstormer can put a lot of pressure on the map. He probably wants to try and take that mid-tier 1 tower early first, but maybe with the right power rune can make some of those rotations, even though Timbersaw not really known for being that big rotating hero. But constant pressure and movement. This Spirit Breaker just charging all over the map. Toronto Tokyo knows no chill.
And he doesn't indeed. Watson's going to try coming to the rescue though. Stops at least the duel from being able to get the kill. And now they're going to look to try and pursue on for more. With the Glimpse drag back, Stormstormer should be able to provide all the damage they need, but Tokyo has something else to say about it. Pure's going to be able to step out of danger, but it means the Spirit Breaker will be the sacrificial lamb, and he plays that role incredibly well. With him going down, we missed the kill down bottom. Nightfall. Who got the kill into Nightfall? Looks like it was Katomi with the help of Toby, and that was even without the Mana Void as well. So top went great, but mid and bottom not looking good for BetBoom.
Yeah, and even top a bit of maybe over-aggression with just how kind of kill-hungry they're getting. So Nightfall's going to be forced back into the jungle early, and you can see his farm on the net worth there, sitting down there at number 6, and usually he's the guy that is kind of playing these kind of slow-paced BetBoom games where they just scale into the late game, but if he's not having a good start, that can really mess with them, particularly when there's an anti-mage on the other side.
Pure? Once again, Tokyo. Great timing out of his charges to try and keep his cause alive. That was a big kill they were able to find onto Watson. More than happy with the exchange of saves life. And it's also just importantly giving some time as well for GPK to be able to get his farm. So his 30 net worth, even after the really rough lane that he had, even saves going to TP bottom to try and get the refill on the bottle.
I think that's it. What you're saying if you're BetBoom. It's like kind of think back to last game where it's like the actual pre-tiny blink, like
it saves life. And it's also just importantly giving some time as well for GPK to be able to get his farm. So his 30 net worth, even after the really rough lane that he had, even saves going to TP bottom to try and get the refill on the bottle.
I think that's it. What you're saying if you're BetBoom. It's like kind of think back to last game where it's like the actual pre-tiny blink, like it was Entity who were up like 1k gold out of the lanes or something, but things just quickly, you know, they flip a switch when they get this tiny blink. They're making all kinds of aggressive smoke moves. This time around, like, he doesn't have, like, the support, the ideal supports to kind of smoke with. Like, Spirit Breaker is this active hero who can kind of charge around the map, but it's not, like, you know, the Disruptor and things that can kind of just go for these smoke plays. So we'll see what the plan is once he gets that Blink Dagger. Probably wants to play around the Legion and try build up some dual damage would be my guess.
Well, we're actually going to see the Legion look to play down bottom. Is it going to be the toss back into the duel? Potentially, GPK is going to try and find the opening. In fact, he could just poke over the tree, so they'll use the toss instead for the extra damage on top of the anti-mage's body. I love what they're doing on BetBoom. So crafty, man. Get Nightfall out of this bottom lane. Get GPK out of mid. Dusa can play middle lane. You shove it out with Snake, go back, farm the jungle, and then you can put GPK down bottom to offer some kill threat, and he too doesn't really mind much about the anti-mage. So this is a very unique way for them to be able to address the rough lanes that were going on currently.
Yeah, just have someone down there. If you want to slow down this anti-mage, because that's the hero that can give Deuce the most problems. So just find Deuce at the best place on the map to farm away. Ooh, that's a lot of farm going Storm's way. But like whether that's mid lane or in the jungle, Deuce is going to just rotate around wherever the safest and easiest farm is, and then have other heroes try and shut down and slow down this anti-mage who, you know, does pose a big threat. Even though it is a 3-position anti-mage, you don't want to just let Toby get it kind of like a free game here because of how problematic his hero can be for your draft.
But that's super important though, right, with Nightfall not being top of the net worth, because you mentioned in particular, like with the Medusa versus anti-mage matchup, it might be a little bit different with the off lane, but you need to kind of end the game with 2 items. If you're unable to do so, then, I mean, we're well aware what the anti-mage can do as this game goes on.
And then even heroes like, I think, as this game goes on, like Timbersaw does very well against the Medusa because she is an easy hero to hit with all your spells. She's not very mobile, so slowing down these Medusa item timers can be very problematic because, yeah, you are trying to end the game around that, like, you know, first Aegis, you want to maybe get at least like a big lead, take maybe even your first lane of racks. Second Aegis is usually where you're trying to end the game. So does not feel like BetBoom is on pace, at least right now. We're 12 minutes in, but a lot can kind of be read already from where things are at.
The ambitious TV.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Does he think Watson didn't level Skewer or something? I don't know.
Yeah, or nor RP.
True.
He had 2 if he wanted, so just maybe hoping, yeah, well, using RP. I don't know, but yeah, nonetheless, he will end up going down. Nicely done. It does stop them from continuing this bottom push, though, which they did have multiple heroes set up. But get some kills, and meanwhile it even gives some more time for Katomi to continue stacking the Ancients. There's more stacks for them to work with.
Oh boy, this Timber is just massive. 8k net worth, almost miles ahead of every other core in this game. It's been a completely free game for Stormer.
I mean, they need to connect with these GPK rotations now. It's going to move up to top, so definitely this is the trio that you want, and in particular, if it's not going to be 3, it needs to be the 2 of Enchantress and Tiny. So they've got pretty good vision around this lane to be able to find the kills, and they might get Watson as well in this next creep wave. Yeah, he's tanky though, Parker, 2200 health.
They've got the Arcane Rune though. We saw the Arcane Rune last game. That was where this game just broke wide open.
Oh, maybe with Pure here. The Teepers are coming out. Are they going to be fast enough to protect him though? The damage, it's overwhelming. They get the dual victory as well. It's huge for Pure. Now they're not done. Arcane, GPK, he's ready to go. There's no real downtime now for the Tiny. It blinks up in a couple seconds. What is it with his Arcane Rune? I thought maybe last game it was the Coddle to help refresh the spells, but doesn't seem like it's going to matter this time. I think he was able to purge off the Rune and slow down the Tiny. That will not stop them at all. There's a tier 2 tower, no deterrent. BetBoom find 3 kills for free.
Yeah, Arcane Rune Tiny's pretty damn good. And it's, yeah, literally, almost, it's the exact same one. It was a 12-minute Arcane Rune. That's what it was last game as well. He gets Blink, and then the Arcane Rune's there. Like, it's almost good that the Arcane Rune didn't spawn at 6 or 8 minutes in, so he gets it with his Blink timing. Gets an Invis Rune now, which is nowhere near as good. The Arcane Rune and the Haste are the 2 big ones. I think Arcane being the best possible, but that will honestly just kind of salvaged this early game because things were not looking great for BetBoom, but I mean, that's kind of what they play for. They kind of don't make these early moves until they get the Tiny Blink and they give up ground, but as soon as Tiny gets Blink, they're ready to make those moves and kind of salvage things, so to speak. And Nightfall, he just sees his team owning without him. He's like, great, guys, keep it up. I'm going to keep hitting creeps. I'll see you in like 10 minutes.
Yep. All right, 25 minutes then. Let's see what Nightfall, what his status is at that stage, because even though BetBoom with their 3 ready to go, make it 4 now with the Blink on Pure as well. And Toby, he wants to start fighting. Very close to having the Diffuser Blade, just needs 100 gold. And we haven't really seen Stormer get too involved as well. I mean, 201, yes, but after all the stacks he's been able to farm, now it's time for him to put his mark on this game.
Yeah. Interesting, the different build. Like, it's like, to me, this is like, how's this Timber game different to the other one we saw? Like, where Misha just rushes off Dream, but he seems to value getting more damage output versus the cooldowns, although in my mind, cooldowns is damage output, so it's a little bit of a different approach to the Timber in terms of itemization.
I personally do not like the setup from Stormer this game. You already have a Dispel on BetBoom, which is my big issue. Save can always just use the enchant to get rid of it. I have no idea why. I don't know why that ability can be dispelled. It just seems like 4,200 gold and you can spell it like that, Toby. Some danger, Glimpse. Can it give enough separation? Not with GPK, nor Pure nearby. Another victory for Pure, which is ever so vital to his scaling.
Yeah, that's always the BetBoom way. Have as many scaling heroes as possible, and Legion getting dual damage is a big part of that. Enchantress looking to scale. Like, even look at their supports. Like, both their supports, one at 5k net worth, the other 4.3. Like, compared to Entity supports who are playing much more classic support, selfless style.
We're seeing them try and help out here in this engagement, but can they protect? Stormer is pretty survivable. It's got a danger. Tree Toss, not enough. What? He lives, Stormer. Very nicely done. Skinner his teeth, gets out of danger. 2 kills to favor Entity.
Yeah, that's a huge survive there. Him going down there would have been pretty damn bad, especially with Medusa being a part of the kill. It would have been a nice little turnaround for BetBoom. I mean, I say turnaround, I think this game's actually in a pretty stable place. I wouldn't give either team a big edge right now. If anything, you know, I think Entity, there is some pressure on them to make some moves, make some plays happen. Like, they've got this Timbersaw who's got a lot of farm priority and is incredibly strong, but you can't just, you know, get down the game too much, especially against a team like BetBoom. Like, they love these slow farm heavy games. And again, they've got a draft that really can kind of benefit from it.
I think a lot of the attention needs to be put on the Shadow Team in this game. Like, I love the item of choice with him going Blink Dagger next. We've spoken about the banishment aggressively for the Deuce illusions, but even just defensively versus the Legion save, like, there is so much value that Katomi can have on this game. And if he finds the farm, which we have seen him do, and thanks to a lot of the stacks he's gotten as well, you'll be able to have a lot of impact as this game goes on.
Yep. See what the next plan is going to be in terms of these two teams strategically. Dire side not feeling necessarily the pressure to make any aggressive moves right away. You know, they do have to be wary. Like the double blinks, the tiny Legion. This is a bit of at least a bit of a power spike where BetBoom are going to look to use through those smokes, try and build up that dual damage. So I think there is some, you know, need for Entity to basically not give off too many pickups right now. Either stick together and force fights as a team, or if you're splitting up to farm, just making sure you don't have heroes like Watson getting picked.
All right. Very, very close. Watson. Just to build, it's going to go Satanic. So this is one of the items we've seen in the past to address like Legion and Axe, where you're able to right click still through that taunt or taunt, I suppose you can say. So even though if you can activate Satanic before the duel, perfect. If not, sometimes just the basic lifesteal you get is enough. So we shall see from Watson.
Yeah, I definitely think the build makes a lot of sense. You're kind of also like asking the question like, hey, do you guys have enough damage here? Like Medusa's not this like insane damage hero. You know, you're going to be able to survive the tiny combo and then just heal your way up through it. So it kind of creates this scenario where, like, you know, fights are going to last a long time with how tanky Medusa is. And, you know, both sides are. So the items like Lifesteal and Sustain just get that much better when you've got all these tanky heroes that can kind of, you know, lifesteal their way through a fight. So definitely a lot of value, I think, on the Satanic this game for Magnus.
I brought up kind of the itemization potential of Toby this game after the Vanguard Diffusal. I like this Helmet choice a lot. I think not only is there an immense amount of value versus the Deucer, but even the Legion, right? You can even say Tiny as well for that matter. So I think this is going to be a really impactful Halberd for Toby.
Yeah. Oh, it's definitely amazing. I mean, a couple good targets in both Medusa as well as the Legion Commander, but it's an item that, Medusa just struggles against. Like, it means you can just pop a Halberd on her in a team fight, target everyone else, and feel really good about how the team fight goes. And Entity have found themselves in a position just to take Roche uncontested. Nothing BetBoom could really do here. They're not really ready to fight. And, you know, we talked about Medusa and her timings and how she wants to play the game. When it's the other team getting the eights and you're playing on the back foot, we're not really going to see that, you know, classic Medusa versus anti-mage item timing. If anything, we're going to be going back into, like, more, like, hey, let's just scale into the late game where anti-mage does very well against Medusa. Again, this is totally different, being offlane anti-mage with the itemization and all that, but they've got a lot of ways to damage through Medusa with Timbersaw, reposition her with Magnus, so a lot of things that can give Entity good scaling.
Oh, he saw them coming through the rift. Let's see if the blink is going to be enough. Back off cooldown, get some distance to the trees, but can they catch up to him? Oh, he lived? Okay.
He didn't have the Legion, yeah. Fortunately, there was no jewel to lock him in place. They're going to smoke and retaliate here.
QPK, he's going to go for the straight TP out. Watson, he's going to be there in the nick of time to stop that short. Oh, GPK is going to make him work for it, but he will not be able to get the blink back up. So even Katomi has to come through, help secure the kill. While it does take a little bit extra time, so we see instantly BetBoom going to try and do whatever they can to get the other lanes in a position where it's not easy for Entity to find some objectives.
Yeah, this game with Aegis on Dire side for BetBoom, you're definitely just looking to avoid fights, slow it down, even give up some of these outer towers. Like, hey, they group up down the bottom, you go push out top, farm the jungle up there. You've got plenty of heroes that just want to try and stall as much as possible. You don't have the best ways to kind of cut waves or stall this push though, so can get a bit tricky, especially like a Timbersaw who can kind of plop himself on the high ground even here. see what the plan is going to be. I don't think Entity can really test the waters with any kind of a high ground push right now, so they're just going to back off, and you'd love to go hunting and try, you know, pick off some of these split pushing heroes, but that's often easier said than done.
This will do nicely. Dire's top tower is under attack.
Even though it's a 3,000 net worth lead, this feels much more disastrous than what the gold is showing. Would you agree with that?
You mean in terms of the Entity advantage?
Yes, yeah.
I'm not sure. I think it's okay for BetBoom. Like, I'm not entirely sure how to evaluate how this Medusa is going to scale into this draft. Like, because Anti-Mage is an offlane. Obviously, the AM offlane is not the first time we've seen it from Toby or just in general. But like, I don't expect Timbersaw to be able to just like dominate and carry this game. But I do think Entity's in a very comfortable position. And they've hit some really important item timings, you know, the Halberd being a really problematic one for Medusa. But yeah, I'd say it feels more like a 5 to 6k gold lead. So yeah, I think I agree with that to a small extent.
Yeah, I think the reason why I bring that up is my concern is that the reason why this game is so close is because somehow Nightfall was able to catch up in farm. Like, he's been a man on a mission to have the net worth that he currently has, and
yeah.
I'll hold that because BetBoom, they're looking for a smoke, and Watson would be a great target, but he's ready to counter. Just gets the skewer onto one. GPK's got to do his best to try and buy some time to disengage. Unfortunately, Toronto Tokyo will not have the same fate. Pure finds a great opening. The Shadow Demon's their primary target if they're able to bring him down. Save will be able to secure the kill. A couple of buybacks coming out from either side as Watson wants to close the distance onto Pure, but the glimpse sends him back into the river. And BetBoom want nothing more of this engagement, but they might need to move over to the Nightfall. There's a Mana Void. It's still there from Toby. It won't be used primarily to bring him down, but at least it stops the TP to help everyone else get in range, and that's where the extra damage can come into play. As now they might even go for more as well with Stormstormer chaining over the top. GPK, he will not be able to escape. Overwhelming amounts of damage out of the Timber, and now they're going to look for save next as well. Even with the skewer off the mark and lack of mana from Stormstormer, it might actually matter. Save, he'll be okay.
Yep, doesn't get skewered back or anything there. But yeah, a fight that BetBoom forced into the Aegis there, and you know, Entity were just ready for it. They were positioned with Magnus in the front line, so he's the one who kind of scouts out the smoke, and he's got an Aegis, so he's in no danger for his own life. Forces the fight with the skewer in, and yeah, I don't think BetBoom have the right item timings to really force this fight. They've got the Ag Shard now coming out on Shadow Demon, which is a really nice pickup. That's one of the better Ag Shards in the game. And
Toby? Okay, looks like a free kill down bottom. Yes, they're going to have the damage.
Nice. And yeah, this is to me what BetBoom should be doing. Like, why I was surprised they forced that fight is just find pickoffs and look to scale. Build up your dual damage. Build Enchantress into a scaling core as well. Like, the Ench is really trying to itemize to do some right-click damage this game. And yeah, Medusa doesn't have the best matchups to be a late-game carry, but I don't think there's any other way you can approach this game. Like, fighting into an Aegis is just not going to cut it here.
So it's unfortunate they don't have too many more objectives for them to be able to play this split push game and get these pickoffs. I mean, we do see Save and Pure. They're hoping that someone goes towards the right Ancients, but they are grouping up currently for Entity. Maybe Tokyo is going to join them as well, so let's see if anyone does eventually show on this right side, because like you said, butting your heads 5 men is going to be a difficult cause now for BetBoom.
I think they need to be the ones kind of playing at least a little bit of keep away, even with the Aegis expiring. They are trying to wait to see what pickoffs come their way. But, you know, like, Legion Commander is just, I think a hero that excels when you can just kind of split push the map, because that's going to naturally create openings to get these dual kills. Duel is much better for pickoffs than it is for like a 5v5 team fight.
I do hope though, if he, you know, when he's using duels inside these team fights, so that he does continue to prioritize Katomi. I do think in that previous fight where we saw inside the Revolt, like, his jump on the Shadow Demon was everything you need out of him. Because if you don't, the banishment's instantly going to be there. So you need to take him out of the equation. And that's probably just going to need to come down to GPK as well to get that extra burst potential inside the duel.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
Lucy, though. Both Wisdom Rooms are going to go the way of Entity. And they might take the Tormentor, though. We'll see if Pure and Save going to consider that. But meanwhile, though, back mid, GPK. What is that damage? Someone just blew him up.
Yeah, this Timber is becoming a big problem. They're going to threaten the high ground here. Elsewhere, BetBoom were just going for the enemy Tormentor, so they get that Enchantress shard for themselves, which is not a bad find, but they're going to defend. No Aegis, no problem. Entity's ready to go for the high ground and basically feel like they've got all the items they need, and with a dead Tiny, there's no real threat of a toss back, so this is a very safe high ground push.
It's kind of a nice choreo snipe. They get rid of the Lincolns for Watson, but I don't know if that's going to stop them, though. Onwards they go, full set mid, down to bottom. They're not going to have to worry about backdoor protection as well. They've still got creeps funneling through mid.
And even the Tiny tossback doesn't feel like an amazing tool
No way,
against
got
these
an RP
heroes.
onto 2! Drag back into the static storm. What an opening for Watson. Pure's going to do his best to turn it around, but that's where the banishment comes into play. Keeps them alive inside the duel. BetBoom, I don't know how they're going to be able to take the fight. Nightfall's out of resources. You could not have asked for a better way for Watson to start the fight. Another skewer, dragging them further away from any retreat possibility. As Entity, they'll lose no one and they will take everything as Pure. Last man standing, but not for long. Watson again, stopping them short. What a carry performance from him in that individual team fight.
Yeah, and this is, I think, one of the things highlighted, previewing this series is when it comes to the carry matchup, Watson's hero pool is super diverse. He'd played 9 different heroes in 10 games, pulling out a carry Magnus, whereas on the BetBoom side, you know what you're getting. You know Nightfall's going to be on this Medusa, on this hard carrying Morphling. That's his bread and butter. That's the BetBoom style. So Entity's response to game 1 was just to get this super fast-paced draft that, yeah, they picked an anti-mage, but they go Timber and then Magnus carry, and they're just ready to knock at BetBoom's door 29 minutes in the game, where Medusa is just not ready to fight.
Not at all. Not at all. Perfect from Entity. Everything you would need out of them in that fight. Not only do you get the star, but just a little thing. Katomi doesn't get dueled, so he can protect that member inside the Pure control. And they were hoping just for that one pickup. Dude, I'm looking inside the base. There are 3 Dire Observer Wards inside Radiant's base. They'll find one of them. Maybe they won't expect the other 2 to still be there.
Often you D-ward 1 and you're like, okay, we got their high ground ward. Yeah, 2 more. Jeez. We'll see if they can find those, but that's, 2 lanes of racks. Roshan respawning right as they arrive, right on cue. And this game looking damn near impossible for BetBoom now. There's going to be Aegis Cheese and 1 lane of racks left standing, but they do scan this. Okay, they want to contest this. I like this. They've got to get out. They can't afford to give another Roshan to Entity.
It seems like they know, though.
Yeah.
Maybe with this bottom observer, they saw them coming outside the base. I didn't see the path of BetBoom. This is a pretty big, you got BKB on Dusa. This is your last fight. If it doesn't go your way, any other fight will not. No. They also see Katomi.
Oh, nice ward,
Great
the ward
target.
vision, yeah.
That's the best target to get rid of to start the fight, and they'll be able to do so. And he doesn't have a buyback, but Watson again. Another RP onto 2, this time catching Pure, but he's going to have enough time to react with the BKB. Tries to shrug off the damage, he's able to get some separation. But Entity, they want to hunt. Nightfall's finally going to get involved, but it might be a little bit too late. Stone get used to buy some time. GPK with a backline stab. It's a pretty decent combo out, but the damage, it's just lacking. Entity, they are too far ahead. BetBoom don't have the response. They'll try it with the Rainbow. Stormer will fall low, but as soon as the BKB expires from Nightfall, he will pop whenever the Mana Void is ready to go from Toby. He doesn't cast it, Toby. All right, gets channeled down thanks to GPK spells, but Watson and Stormer, they're still ready to go. Another skewer onto 2. And that should be all she wrote. The one fight that looked pretty decent for BetBoom. but it did not matter in the end. Entity will find all 5 and toy with them a little bit before they go for the finishing blow.
I mean, it started off great, having that ward on the high ground to snipe the Shadow Demon, but I think they overcommitted on the Shadow Demon. Like, there's no need to use the Jewel there as well. Like, I understand Pierre's looking just like scale and build up this Jewel damage, but then you don't have the Jewel for the team fight. It's a very important source of lockdown. So I think they just kind of throw too much on a Shadow Demon there to get the kill. And that's a big part of why that fight did not go well for them. I mean, obviously, there's the huge gold discrepancy. Saw Stormstormer, he's just in the middle of all these heroes, tanking everything. Nothing comes close to killing him. All the Rainbow Enchantress impetus is just kind of tickling away at him.
Tokyo, my friend? Oh, unfortunate Observer Sentry placement. It's ambitious, but I mean, I don't... Yeah, you're like, why not? You're like, what
he had a
else am I
hope and
gonna
a prayer.
do?
He's just like, they won't have a sentry here. Who sentries with a Roche pit?
Ooh, Pure. They're gonna get Pure as well. No TP. It's gonna be a chase down, and Watson, he'll easily be able to get up to him.
He's like, Jewel me, come on, do it. I'll take the Jewel.
He was ready for it. Watson wants a wave as well. He'll get the last laugh in that skirmish and potentially this game as well, because it doesn't get any easier. 1%. And soon gonna fly down all the way 0 as well.
Well, we're gonna see the final high ground defense get tested here. Can BetBoom hold against the Aegis? It feels like a damn near impossible task.
Let us see. Let us see. MKB now completed for Mr. Watson. We get to take a look at that last fight. I mean, how many times are you going to get multi-man skewers, though, on Watson?
Yeah, it feels like he's just had... I mean, we often, every time... I've emphasized... Yeah, okay, yeah. That's an important source of damage.
That it is. You need to keep the Enchanter alive. Watson's fallen pretty low. Banishment as soon as he used Satanic. Now Pure's going to be finding the opening as well into the Shadow Demon, but Watson to the rescue with a skill. The damage has been dealt, though. They've got the important kill into the SD. Eyes on save, though, but Watson... That's the RP to close out the game. Starting Storm as well. What a combo. This man has had one hell of a mag performance.
Whew. That's a fun way to end the game. I mean, they're not going to GG out just yet. They're going for that last hurrah. They've got the Medusa with the buyback, but 1 versus 4. GG.
Oh my lord.
This Magnus performance was something else.
That it was. That it was indeed. And just